Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation and for the attention on my presentation. I come here to invite you to make some reflection on our day's self-representation using photography as a media. As we all know, I'm sure that as soon as I say self-representation, there is one word that will come to your minds, and that word will be selfie, right? Is there any one of you here, can you please raise your hand if you have never made a selfie? You have never made a selfie? What a unique. Let's see if we can do that today. So in this story, I will start with the end, as we all know it in our days. And I would like to go throughout these topics, the phenomenon of the selfie, how much widely used it had become, and I will go to some icon examples as the first examples of this. For me, it's a new phenomenon, maybe for the young people here. They were very young by then, so this is a bit, but I come with this example of this selfie with all these famous people, and this was in 2014, and this became a very famous selfie. It was, the numbers are very high in the brief time and the amount of sharing this image had. For this new phenomenon, it was 2014, so it was kind of new, and it was the first time that this was so widespread as an image. And here, this selfie connects this characteristic of the selfie, which is somehow an intimate approach towards a photo, and at the same time using famous people in a famous situation, because this is in the Oscars, celebration. So this image has lots of famous people. And everybody, all these famous people are having a very enthusiastic attitude towards being a part of it. This next image, we can see this is not the selfie, this is the photographic moment, the report moment of when it happened. So the selfie, it's a self-image. We can also call it a selfie when it is in group. I wonder if some of the people that never made a selfie have never been in a group selfie. Even the scholars that study this topic, they call it a selfie, because it's we and not self. And here is this image. So this image marks a moment of the selfie history. And what I come here to challenge people is, somehow we know that selfies are commonly accused as something not very positive, as it is a focus on a self person. But I come here to challenge that, and this is why we would go back on thinking about it, is that it was not when the cameras with the mobile phones start to be possible to make photographs of ourselves that this started. The thing of the people that can represent people with some technique, it was also done. Of course, we can acknowledge what is the difference in the selfie in our days. It comes not only to make a photo of ourselves, but it suggests that we will use it. It is made with the purpose of being used in this new way of communication that internet allows us to have. And this is within the cyber culture that there is no way to deny it. It is there, it's changing every year. We have AI now putting us in a new challenge now, and there is no way to deny it. It's a fact. And my challenge is to think how much before it also happened. It just didn't happen that much because we didn't make that much photos. We wouldn't send as much letters. We didn't send as much postcards of our vacations as we did before. There is no way to talk about selfie without mention Kim Kardashian, because somehow she became some celebrity in the Western world, at least, because she made selfies. This is from 2015, where she published a book, and here we came out of this virtual internet logical, and she goes to a printed book of these self-images in the logical of selfies. Much could have been said about Kim Kardashian that touches other topics, but definitely she goes through this culture and generation of selfie. But selfie is much more than this, and it's beyond this, and it's part of almost everybody's lives. I would say not only in the much technical developed world, I think it's really worldwide. Maybe in Amazonia they don't have cell phones in some places, but this is very widely used. So I will invite you to go back in time, and we go now through some history and how the self-representation using photography as a media has been used before for some photographers that are considered art. This is always a topic that I don't think it's much important if it's really or not, but it is. It can be thought about it. This is also another topic, as photography is or not. It's considered in nowadays and accepted as a form of art. And I will go back to the time where digital photography did not exist. So it's very hard for me to go and to choose. I've chosen 3 artists, let's say. It's very hard for me to go and choose 3 as I could have chosen thousands. For some reason, and from personal reasons, I chose these 3 that I think they have different approaches. So this is also what I was looking for. So beginning with Vivian Maier, this is a very interesting story. She was not a famous artist while she was alive. She lived in New York and some other places around the United States. She worked as a babysitter, and she had this camera that she made photos. And her work was only found, this was between the 50s and the 70s, and her work was only found in 2017 by a guy that studied history. He bought all this spolium. Some negatives were not even developed, and suddenly he has this big wide collection that is in nowadays most treasured by the arts universities, I mean. And she makes a testimony of how was New York and how was her daily lives and her mindset throughout her photos. And lots of photos, she comes up in the photos where she makes self-photographs of herself. For me, in my point of view, we cannot call these selfies. This is self-representation. Because to call these selfies, she would have to be in this logical of using them for network. And she didn't have that intention. She didn't even use them at all. And if you want to, one day, if you go to bed and you want to scroll, put a name and check, and you can see how was New York living, how was the city of New York during the 50s and the 60s. Is very much interesting. Also, we can see here in these 3 photographers I've brought for an example, you can see here some techniques that are in our days used as well as selfies. And one of them is how we mirror into things. Can you see, can you understand that this is the reflection of her? This is a technique very much used in selfies, right? And here she uses this in a very interesting way, as you can see as well what is happening around her. So we are having two informations that work together. And we know about her, how she looks, and how is the environment around her. Again, we have the same technique, but in an artistic, more developed way, where the shadow of her silhouette makes it possible to see what is inside and what is outside. As for self-representation or not, this is a technique very much used by photographers. This way you can have two ways, two images, two informations within the same image. And you can see all these cars. It's a very interesting testimony of how are the places, the cars, the outfits, and the behavior of people. Again, here she is with the dynamics of the city, and we can see her with her camera in the center of the image within what is happening. I only brought these three images from her. If it makes you curious, I would say this is a very interesting lady photographer. She was not looking for fame or anything, and this historian had the very good idea to buy this collection that became much more value, and to give to all of us this information, how was the society during the 50s, the 60s, and also the 70s. This one, I chose this artist. Her name is Cindy Sherman, because she is a reference if you go to see about important photographers that work, important artists that work with self-representation. Tell me, does this look to you a self-representation image? Yes or no? Would you say it out of context? They don't look. They don't look. She makes a performance. Sometimes I wonder, and I've been discussing with other people, is this really a self-representation? Because she's not representing herself, but she's representing a part of herself. She is making reflections about the roles of people in life, and she portrays all these different characters she portrays with props herself as a clown, or as an old lady, as a young lady, as an artist, as a housewife, has an 18th century character. And what is about new in Cindy Sherman is that she makes all of this, and she makes the photos with this plastic retouch as for art, and she brings it inside the museums with big prints and with all this story. So this is her. There are some techniques. For example, the photographer before, she used reflection so she can click and make the image. She would use this cable to make the images, and she would always hide her hand in a way that she can display. Because in this time, in the 70s and in the 60s, you would not have this function as you have with the phones. You would have a timer, you could do with a timer, or you could do with a cable, these images. So this is how you could make self-photos from the technical point of view, which is something I will also talk about, how much the techniques shape our behaviors and our things that we can do. So this is Cindy Sherman, a very famous and important artist. Her, if you can Google it, how much the prices of her works is, it's numbers that I don't even understand. So here you have, instead of bringing more of her images, I've brought 2 images that have a lot of images, so you can see in MoMA Museum her exhibitions. So you can see how this is presented in our very much artistic treatment, right? All of these images, it's her. This one, she's pretending like she's dead. And sometimes you can see she uses props and these masks, and you can see she doesn't deceive it. It's assumed. And this is her looking older than what she was by then. Again, here she is like a circus artist, and you can see how much this is a museum artistic art form. Then I bring another photographer as for my taste that I appreciate very much. This one has nothing to do with the previous one, although photographer and artist. This is also from the 50s. This is Linda McCartney. She is more famous as the fact that she was married to Paul McCartney. This is how her name came. Her name as a single woman was Linda Eastman. And she is also a nature defender, and you can see that in her images and self-portraits as well. She makes her self-portraits to show this normality of life. Although she had a life crowded with very important and famous people, you can see her self-portraits not showing off with that, and she's looking towards herself. She uses natural life as the opposite of Cindy Sherman that would make everything very settled. Here, it's a person that makes photos of herself as herself. It's also a very interesting photographer if you want to see. She treasures very much the simplicity of life, the good things of life, the kindness, the nature, the animals, and the natural light. Here, this is one photo I got from her as an important. She's in Francis Bacon studio, a very famous and important artist, and there she is. I think here, I was wondering, this is, you can see full negative, and I wonder if she uses the timer to make this image, or if she was clicking with the shutter cable. And here she is within the space. Here it's some more of a daily life. Here she is with her husband, Paul McCartney, and I think he's teasing her for the way she handles the camera. And again, they are using reflection. They are using the mirror to get the image. So this is some examples. I did brought so far only women. And this one as well, this is Linda McCartney in '96. So here we were almost on the digital time cameras. And here she is making a shadow, using her self-portrait as for a shadow. To go back on history, throughout history, we can say that it was in Renaissance that self-portrait of artists became with a major focus, because it was the time where corpus theoricus of the images were done, where the individual was started to see as important. So this is when artists started to to portray themselves and to portray people as individuals, which in nowadays we really don't have this doubt. Here we have this painter, it's a lady painter. I chose this one as she is actually painting. And as you can see, in nowadays they say they make self-portraits only when people are looking nice, in nice places. Here again, she portrays herself not with, she probably was not painting using this outfit, right? She would make a mess out of it. This would not be very comfortable for her to work. But she portrays herself working with a nice outfit. So this is not something that came up with a selfie and with the internet. Here I come self-portraits of the same season from the same age for Rembrandt. As the light of Rembrandt would make these self-portraits as a study, because he was studying quite focused. He was very new in the way he would use the light, and even in nowadays, for studio photography, you use this kind of lighting set that we call Rembrandt light. So I've brought to you for you to be aware. Again, here we have a lady painter, and there she is, very beautiful. I remember I used to have a teacher that she used to say that in this time, everybody would have problems in their skin, because people would have lots of problems in their health, and everybody after 15, they would have problems in their skins. And you will never see that on paintings, because it was not Photoshop that became to put people prettier. Even the photos from the 50s, they were painted on top of it, so people look nice. And also throughout painting, people were not portrayed when they wanted, they would pay for the painting, so they didn't want to look bad, they wanted to look the best. Here we have a self-portrait with an artistic approach. And here I brought also a self-portrait of this famous, is there anyone here that doesn't know Frida Kahlo? I think in nowadays it's very much known. She uses self-portrait where you can see her feelings, her states of mind, where she can made a stand for her positions, even with her husband. When she would get upset with her husband, he didn't like that she would dress like a man, and she would do that and make a portrait of it, a self-portrait. Here is one. Here we see that she doesn't look her best. She's looking as much natural as she can come. This image I've brought to you because this is an anonymous artist. So it's not with the phones that we become interested on self-portraiting. Here is the first self-portrait. This photographer, he made when daguerreotype, which was the technique invented. This was the first self-portrait photo ever made. And also people, if they have, this is Romanov lady, one of the princess that was killed in the revolution. Not much after this image was done, as they could buy for the material, the equipment to make photos. It also interested them, and that she is making a photo with the technique of the mirror. Then we have in the 70s these approaches using photo and to make this artistic interventions. And here is another photographer, very much famous, Annie Leibovitz. You can also take this name. She also makes, this is an image for work. You can see her with a camera, and she is within her environment, so this is a professional image. Her work is very much interesting. You can see as well, she made photos of these rock stars, the Queen of England. Now she makes photos for Vogue. She has been through a big, big career. as it was said in the presentation before me, she worked very, very hard. And I would like to tell you that the way we see ourselves and the way people portray themselves can build, especially throughout teenager, can be a contribution. It's a way of building your own identity. Don't be afraid of it. Go for it. And just to finish, I will, as artists, I'm also a photographer. As artists, we must open ourselves a little bit. I will show you 3 photos of mine with 3 different approaches. Just to finish. So here I am with my son. Now he has grown, he doesn't look like this anymore. This is a studio image with the timer, and this is a created image. I saw us like this in front of the mirror in my bedroom. So I said, let's go to the studio and let's make it. This was an emotional image that I did, and I had this series with this image. I don't look good in the photo, but me and my son, I think we are in a good mood. This is a casual selfie, as we can call it. Here I am on the mirror, hiding the camera and portraying what was happening around. That car is my friends, I am in my car, and there we are after a very nice day at the beach in Qatar. And this was an exercise I did. There is a photographer that makes these constructions with several images, and there I was. This was during COVID. We were in the house, so here I am making this image. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have enjoyed and that this will be a seed for you to think of things. Thank you very much.